Good morning, evening, afternoon, everyone. My name is Mark,
And I'm Zoe.
and we are the Board Adventurers, back to you with another fresh off the shelf. And today we're going to go medieval in this fresh off the shelf. We're going to talk about the 2 to 5 player game Castle Combo, designed by Gregory Gerard and Matthew Russell, and published by Pandasaurus Games. So in this game, you're trying to build a 3x3 tableau and score the most amount of victory points by the end of the game. How do you get the most victory points? That's a good question. You're going to take the 2 decks. You're going to have a castle deck and you're going to have a village deck. You're going to place them, shuffle them, and place them on the table. You're going to deal 3 cards face up next to the deck. So those are going to be the starting cards that are available. You're going to take the messenger and you're going to, this piece here, you're going to place it next to the village cards, which is the brown deck. And then you're going to take 2 keys and 15 gold to start with. So what do you do on your turn? So on your turn, you're going to take wherever the messenger is, whatever that row that is. You're then going to, you have an optional first action. The optional first action is spending 1 and only 1 key. What you can do is you can shift your messenger from whatever row it's on to the opposite row. So if it's at the village and you spend a key, it'll go up to the castle row. The other thing you can do, again, you can only do 1 of these on your turn, is you can shuffle out the 3 cards that are in the messenger deck and replace them with the next 3 cards from the top of the deck. So on your turn, you're going to, after you do the optional action of spending a key, you then need to buy one of the available cards where the messenger is and add it to your tableau of 3x3. So let's say, for example, I'm going to buy this one. So I decide to buy this messenger. I pay the cost on the top left. So I would need to pay 3 gold. Again, I would get change for it. And then I add it to my tableau. The first card can go anywhere in your 3x3. Any subsequent cards need to be orthogonally adjacent to it, meaning that it has to go above or next to another card in your tableau. And you're building 3x3. So when you place it, so again, you're going to place the card in your tableau, then you're going to take the effect. The effect is over here in the middle part of the area. Note that whenever you have a card in your tableau already, and it has an effect here that allows you to buy cards of a certain color for a discount, you can get that discount when you buy that card. So if I had this built, that means every brown card I buy in the future will be worth 1 less. There are some cards that give you money, cards that give you coins, cards that let you add to a pouch, which I'll get to. There are cards that give you a pouch. So there are pouches here that that at the end of the game will score. I'll go into how you do that a little later. But once you've placed it and resolved the effect, you're going to check the top left of the card. If that card has an arrow, whether it's gray or brown, that means the messenger will move from that row to that adjacent row. So in other words, this card has an effect where the messenger moves to the castle row. You're then going to move the messenger from the village row up to the castle row. You're going to keep building out cards until you build a grid of 3x3. If there's ever a point where you can't buy a card, meaning that you don't have the money to pay for it, or you shuffled out the cards and you can't pay for anything, you can always take the top card of that deck for 6 gold and 2 keys. That, in a sense, is a 0-point card at the end of the game, but at least it gives you some money to spend for any future cards. At the end of the once you've built out the 9x9 grid, so again, each person takes 1 turn, you're then going to look at any one that has a pouch. Any remaining money that you still have on you can be put into any of the pouches that you have in your 3x3 grid. So, in other words, if this one says it has a pouch of 4, that means I can fit 4 coins in here, up to 4 coins in here if I wanted to, if I had the money for it. You'll play, again, you'll finish that round out, and whoever has the most victory points on cards will win the game. Keys also count as a victory point at the end of the game. With that being said, that is how you play Castle Combo. What do you think?
Yeah, I was very excited to play Castle Combos. I've watched and read some reviews on the game before I played it, and it seemed like a game that was very up my alley. The first initial playthroughs of this, I was a little disappointed by it, but this game really grew on me at
Mm-hmm.
the subsequent playthroughs. Like each playthrough, it got better and better and better for me as I understood more of the game and how cards kind of aligned with each other and different strategies. I thought
Mm-hmm.
it was really enjoyable in terms of the amount of options that you have.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy that, the strategies that you can take. You could try so many different things in combinations to see how many points you get. It really, really worked for me. What
Yeah.
about you?
Yeah, Castle Combo had that kind of rising, uh, like that you're saying,
Hmm.
because the first couple times we played, it kind of felt like a very simple game, like a
Hmm.
little too simple.
Yeah.
But as we started playing it just a little bit more, and we played it with even more players,
Hmm.
you kind of get that feeling of, oh, you're trying to just combo, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to optimize the amount of points you have, and the puzzle aspect really is going into your 3x3 grid, because a lot of these cards have different shield values,
Hmm.
and one of the main ways of scoring this game is based on shield color. And the player aid kind of gives you the shield color like kind of like hierarchy for everything, but you'll have almost like a flip for each deck. So each deck has like the highest is the blue one on one deck, and the lowest I think is the orange on another deck. But then as they go towards the center, you get almost the same amount in each deck, but then you'll vary it out based on whatever color. And a lot of the point scoring has to deal with, like, say for example, this one says 3 for every orange in the same row.
Hmm.
That means once you've taken it, you're kind of prioritizing to get as much orange as you can,
Yeah.
because otherwise that doesn't score.
Hmm.
What I will say though is that it's definitely harder to buy the castle cards out of it.
Hmm.
And what I've tended to do is I end up buying a lot of the village cards on my turn,
Yeah.
just because they're cheaper. I don't spend as much, and I can shuffle them out a little faster.
I will. Yeah. Speaking of the spending money for which cards, the
Mm-hmm.
castles or the village, I do like the aspect of this game that it's not just picking up a card every turn. Even though that's kind of what your action is, you have to manage your money and your resources very well in the game. They can
Mm-hmm.
run out very, very fast.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to do the action in which you get gold and the keys back because it feels like a waste of an action because you're limiting your combo
Right. Mm-hmm.
opportunities doing playing it that way.
Yep.
So you really want to manage your money, and that's gonna steer you away sometimes from picking the best option
Yeah.
because you want to save the money for the even better option.
Right. Right.
I do like that
Mm-hmm.
aspect of it as well, and for you playing it that way means for
Mm-hmm.
you taking more villagers than castles.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm.
I do like that aspect of it as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, One thing I did, which I think you brought this up
Mm-hmm.
recently, as we were getting ready for the review, is that the player aids.
Yes. So I think in this game they only come out with like one player aid from like what we see in the boxes. This one like thing, and like there's not really a problem to pass this around.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be nice if each player could get one of these.
Yeah.
Instead of like having on their turn to kind of like pass this around and
Mm-hmm.
see like, okay, what does this effect do? What does that effect do? What do these colors kind of do?
Yeah.
Um, I will say though, also with like more players, the game becomes definitely more variable, right?
Mm.
Because in a two-player game, it's so tight because say you want a certain card, likely you can get to that card on your next turn.
Yeah.
But when you have a 4 or 5 player game, that card becomes more likely to be taken,
Yeah.
right? Because then it'll be by the time it gets back to you, 5 cards have shifted out.
Yeah.
So it's likely like that. There's a little bit of tension, a little more tension you get with a multiplayer game.
Mm-hmm.
But the tightness of it really comes in because you're spending more of your keys, I think, trying to shuffle out for a card you want.
Yeah. One thing too I'd mention as well for the game is the iconography. It takes a
Mm-hmm.
while to get used to it.
Mm.
I don't think it's as intuitive as most other games
Yep.
that are
Yeah.
simple like this,
That's fair.
which was a big hindrance for me the
Mm-hmm.
first couple playthroughs. After a while, I really did get used to it, and it didn't become much of a bother. But it did
Mm-hmm.
hinder my enjoyment of the game early on.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna reflect that too. Is the first time we played, we were definitely referencing this rule book or this player aid a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And the iconography did, like, we got used to it by
Yeah.
like like the second to like fifth, sixth playthroughs.
Yeah.
And like Yeah, because like some cards just have like a interesting effect on them that you're not sure exactly what it does.
Hmm.
But once you've played a couple rounds and like there's enough cards in this deck where you're not going to see the same cards from game to game
Yeah,
unless
that's
you're
true.
playing like a really large player count.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, that's really kind of like where like this game would stand. Yeah.
yeah. In terms of review score, where do you land for this?
I liked this game, and then
Hmm.
I grew to kind of enjoy it the more we played. Again,
Hmm.
this would fall under that weeknight game
Hmm.
where it's like I have I maybe have like an hour to kill before bed, but we can't start anything crazy massive.
Yeah.
We can play something that would at least give us that kind of endorphin kick
Hmm.
of I can, I'm creating something, I'm building to something big.
Yeah.
So right now I'm at a 3.5,
Mm.
slightly leaning to 4.
Mm.
Um, I think it's going to end up settling at 3.5 at some point. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's where I'm at right now. What about you?
Yeah. This is it's a big variance for me. I could go anywhere from like a 3 to a 4. I
Mm.
wish there was like a 3.75
Yeah.
because that's where this would
Mm-hmm.
land for me realistically. Uh, I think right now, because we've played it a good amount of times and I've even played it on Board Game Arena a lot as
Mm-hmm.
well. It's gotten getting better each time. That I think I'm gonna go with a 4.
Mm.
But this could be a 3.5 for me. But I'm gonna land with a 4 because it is getting better for me.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of like the combo.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it comes down to.
Yeah.
I like playing it and kind of going like, what combo can I make this game?
Right.
And it's quick enough and simple enough to do so. Once you get a hang of the iconography and the cards that are in the game, even though you don't really see them that often, you
Mm.
kind of get an idea of what you can get and start trying to combo things, and that's where the fun of the game is.
Right.
And it just kind of works for me. But yeah, that's where I'm at for this.
Nice. So that is our review of Castle Combo. Let us know if you've played it. Let us know what you think. Is it quick enough? Are we playing it wrong? Let us know in the comments. We are the Board Adventurers. I'm Mark.
I'm Zope.
We'll see you on the next adventure.